Hey everyone, it's Trenton and Jesse from Too Dumb for This, and we want to thank you for being a subscriber. We love doing this show every week, and we honestly want to get better and kick some more ass.
We've got a lot of cool things in the works, and we want you to be a part of it. We launched a thing on Patreon.com. Patreon supporters get access to bonus episodes that can't be heard anywhere else, and other opportunities for other cool shit. So head over to patreon.com/2dumbforthis to help us grow the show.
Thank you guys again for everything. And remember, more importantly than money or anything else is the fact that you listen to us talk shit and have a great time. Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. And most importantly, spread the word to get other people involved.
Thanks again. Now enjoy the show.
Hey guys, it's Brian from Wichita, Kansas. I want to tell you I love the podcast. Been listening since day one, even through the struggles at the beginning. You guys are doing great. Keep it up. Love the new guest. Love you guys. Bye.
Listening to the Too Dumb for This show.
Maybe. You might be listening.
51Beef1608, 512-333-1608. That's the beef line. I'm Jesse.
I'm Trenton.
And we're very excited tonight because we get to speak with Cody Meirick, producer-director of the new Scary Stories documentary. Welcome to the show, Cody.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me.
Of course.
Absolutely,
thanks for making
man.
the time.
Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Where are you tonight?
Oh, I'm in my home in Chicago.
Nice.
The old Windy City.
Yes.
Old Chi-town.
It's windy down here, too. I'm in Austin.
Okay, cool. The documentary kind of took me all over the place. We did some in Chicago, but we did make our way to San Antonio. That's the only place in Texas we went to just for a quick time, but we did make our way down that direction. Yeah.
I saw that. That was the Scary Stories to Tell in the Art, right?
Yes. Yep. That was kind of, which it was kind of late in the process, and it ended up being a really nice ending to some degree. So, yeah.
So for the folks who were kind of raised in a closet, Cody, he dug into one of the most horrific book series I ever read as a child. So Scary Stories documentary, it's the story of the most banned books of modern times. It's available now on all major video-on-demand platforms, and the DVD pre-order is up. You can get that on Amazon, and that comes out July 16th?
Yes.
So I don't know. Trenton and I were kind of talking before, and he'd never read the book series. So were you obsessed with the books as a kid, or how did this all start?
So, yeah, I mean, I'm of that generation that kind of was reminded of it when we were adults. Like, I was, the books came out between 1981 and 1991. The third one in 1991, I was about 11 years old. I was about the prime age for a lot of kids who were reading these books, were reading R.L. Stein and then, and a lot of other, children's scary tales, that sort of thing. It was kind of first initiation with horror, but then also first initiation with just reading in general. And so, I was reminded of these books as a 20-something-year-old. And, as far as the early stages, it really, for me, deciding I wanted to take on my first full-length documentary, it really, the very beginning stage was kind of this concept that I wanted to do a documentary about the importance of reading and the importance of literacy, and wanting a entry point. And I thought of these books, and it just kind of gelled. First and foremost, you want to kind of find a story, and I thought of these books, and yes, I fondly remembered them growing up, but I also kind of saw this underlying story there, because I could see that a lot of people who are just like me remember these books fondly and remember them as, oh, these were great growing up, and so on and so forth. Yes, I moved on to other books, but this was a good foundational book for me and for a lot of people. So I kind of saw that. Then I also saw, the censorship piece. And so, you've got, it's the most number one challenge book of the 1990s. And generally speaking, I kind of say it's one of the most challenged books of the last 40 years. So, you put those two things together, you've got an interesting story there to tell. I didn't know, of course, everything that would go into it, but I saw a lot of opportunity there. I saw a lot of opportunity to kind of raise a lot of, and discuss a lot of topics. And of course, it's all from folklore and urban legends. So you can have a lot of fun with that too, and get into some kind of meaty topics. The fact that there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of interesting things going on with every single tale. So there was just a lot there, and that's really what you want from a documentary standpoint is, you want to be able to open doors. And I just saw a lot of, interesting avenues to go down. So that's pretty much the beginning. This was about 5 years ago. I mean, it was a long journey putting this together. Yeah.
And you took on a lot of the work. I mean, you're producing, directing, and you did most of the editing.
Yes.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, I mean, I early on did say, I could do this in a shorter amount of time, but there was a fair bit of benefits to be able to kind of space it out. And I'd like to think it ended up being a better product, partially because, okay, it took some time. I didn't quite have the budget that, I couldn't do it all in the summer. It had to be done, cut somewhat piecemeal and over time, but there were some benefits because, I had the time to do a lot of it myself and do it right and get a lot of stuff. And the DVD has over 20 minutes of extra footage, and then I have all kinds of other stuff. So, it helps in editing to have more than enough. And so, it was definitely and from the perspective of editing, it's nice to just kind of have the time to work it out and figure out what the story is and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
So, hey, this is Trenton, by the way. Like Jesse said earlier, I wasn't aware of the books when I was growing up. My family, we weren't very big readers in my household. There was always something else going on. But after watching your documentary, I'm definitely interested in going back and checking them out. They seem really cool. But I tell you what absolutely fascinates me about this book is the illustrations. I was obsessed.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
Obsessed with Stephen Gamble now, or however you say his name.
Yes. And that was a big component. I mean, early on, people question, okay, what are you going to do with this and so on. And yes, a lot of people immediately say the illustrations had a huge effect on them. And so that's, very, I don't know, somewhere in the process in trying to figure out how to manage all these different topics. It did end up being kind of about roughly a third had to do with the illustrations, roughly a third had to do with the stories, and roughly a third had to do with the censorship piece. So yes, there's no doubt in my mind, from the get-go, the illustrations and their impact was always going to be a significant part. And one of the interesting things I found along the way is, the illustrations are fantastic. They're both horrific and beautiful at the same time. And,
absolutely.
they brought people in, right? And that's really from a kid's perspective. Okay, you either totally are horrified and decide quickly that that's not what you're interested in, or you're attracted to it because you're naturally attracted to it. And, the interesting thing here is, you had these illustrations that brought a lot of kids in, but then you also had a lot of other things going on how much they picked up on it, it varied, of course. But unlike other books, that can be quite good and so on. In this case, you had a book series that was all folklore and urban legend. So, they were getting a little bit of, dare I say, history out of being attracted to these stories and the illustrations and getting into it. And they got a little something more than what they thought they were going to get. And over time, that developed with a lot of kids. And the interesting thing with returning to these books is that, three book series between 81 and 91, and the author passed away shortly after the third book. So, you had a book series that will never quite exist again. And so it's a little bit of a time capsule. And, it's a good time because all the kids that grew up with these in the 80s, 90s, we get to return to them and we get to see how they ended up, right? And myself included.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it was an interesting thing. In the case of the illustrations, you had kids that grew up with these in the 80s and 90s. Now, many of them are artists themselves. And so you get to see the kind of more so the legacy of these books more than other types of titles that, yes, are still popular today. They're a little bit of a time capsule. You get to see how everyone ended up after having grown up with these books.
Sure.
Yeah. And what I think was really cool is you did a lot of custom animation that it wasn't derivative, but it was influenced by the illustrations, within the documentary. Because,
yes.
Which I thought was, the illustrations were very well done.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was very cool.
The illustrations themselves are, look, I was horrified as a kid, but I was still attracted to them and digging in and like reading the stories. And to your point, like the overall themes, the bigger themes, like I was lost on that, like I didn't know that the hook was really kind of a story about like what kids do alone, when they're out on dates.
Right.
Like I just wasn't paying attention to that. I was just terrified that there was a hook. But the illustrations themselves, they seem to me like the way you would explain a nightmare to somebody. Like they're just a little bit fuzzy. You can't piece together all of the details. The details are left up to your imagination. And as if you have an active imagination and you go down this road, you're looking at, take the story, The Thing, for example, where you just see that face and your imagination fills in the details, and that just stays with you forever.
Yes, absolutely. And the interesting one thing I kind of thought interesting as I looked at these books, over and over again over the years and that sort of thing is I thought both author and illustrator over the span of these three books became more and more comfortable with themselves, or that's how I kind of grasped what happened. Because if you really look at the books, the three books that span 10 years, Stephen Gamble seemed to become more and more surreal in his interpretation of the stories, and it's an interesting thing to kind of see someone. From my perspective, that's kind of my feeling, is getting more and more comfortable and growing in their own interests, if that makes sense, And so, as the books continue to grow in popularity, and you pair this writer with this illustrator over and over again, both of them kind of grew into what their interest was. And in the case of Stephen Gamble, I felt they got much more surreal. You had things that had absolutely nothing to do with the story more and more, and would just kind of, and he also included himself. I mean, he did that a few times, but he would actually include himself, his own, face or his own head depicted in one of the illustrations and that sort of thing. It was an interesting thing, but you also kind of see how, whatever type of artist it is, they grow more comfortable and you start to see what their interest is. In the case of the author, Alvin Schwartz, he was much more of a folklorist and that was his interest. He was interested in a lot of like why these stories were told. Why do we fear this thing? What's innate in society and that sort of thing. And so So what you saw is in the source material at the back of the books, they became more and more expansive because that's what I feel like, Alvin Schwartz geeked out about basically is that, yes, we have a story that's horrific and it's going to attract kids. But at the end of the books, you can kind of flip through and see that, okay, this story, there's a lot going on, right? There's, in the case of Harold, which is, one of the more popular stories.
Yep.
It's basically a scarecrow or doll, essentially, that comes to life and goes on essentially a murderous rampage, right? But of course, there's comparisons there, right? It's essentially Frankenstein. It's essentially, all these other stories. It has similarities to a lot of other stories where we create something and that creation comes back to haunt us or kill us, and so there's a lot going on here. And so anyway, one of the things I found the most interesting was kind of how both author and illustrator grew into themselves just in these 3 books. And in the case of Stephen Gamble, I mean, it just, it resulted in illustrations that just become more and more very interesting. And you can look at individual ones and just see new things every time you look at it, sort of thing. And it's pretty great.
Yeah, it was all kind of bubbling up at the same time. There's, you're absolutely right. There are some of those cultural motifs that kind of get reinvented with every generation. And at that time, you had a lot of you had R.L. Stine. I'm not at that time, but like kind of following through. You had R.L. Stine. You had Tim Burton was blowing up. You had a lot of people rediscovering the art of Edward Gorey.
Yes.
You had The Cure, So it was just really fascinating that you had a lot of cultural forces kind of driving towards this. I mean, there are always horror films, and everybody likes to be scared, but for some reason, this stuff just blew up. And then, to your point, like the censorship, angle, people tried to put it down and stop this thing from getting in the hands of kids, and
that just makes it. You want it more,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. People, ask me like, okay, why were these books, taken off shelves? Why were these books? What was the number one reason? And, I'll point to a number of things. No doubt the illustrations, certainly are in your face more. I mean, when an illustration is particularly, effective, then it's easy to put up that book and that illustration is glaring at you. I mean, it just makes it that much easy for usually a parent to, put it up and say, okay, this should be nowhere near my kid. It shouldn't be in the school. It shouldn't be, and in some cases, this shouldn't exist. I mean, that sort of thing. But that said, I tend to think the number one reason is actually the popularity. I mean, if these books were wildly popular with kids, then no parent would question it because it wouldn't come up. It would just, if kids weren't passing this around on the playground, then, there wouldn't be this outcry from parents to have it removed from schools because, so yeah, I mean, the fear, the mere pop. I mean, same thing. I mean, nowadays it's more Harry Potter and it's Captain Underpants and all kinds of other books, are on
Timmy
the,
Failure.
The list of challenge. Yeah. And it's not like they're coming up with books that are not pop. No, they're coming up with the most popular books, and they're finding reasons to not like them or to find them inappropriate in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, like I said, number one reason is because it's the kids want it.
Yeah. And I read these books when I was a kid, and then I didn't, kind of like as I was, I grew up and but I still thought about them, and I still thought about them from time to time because there are certain stories that just, of course, stick with you. Like I remember the vivid picture I had in my head when I imagined a worm playing pinochle with your brain or your eye or whatever. And that just stuck with me forever. It stuck with me forever. And so like I thought about it from time to time, and the books disappeared. And I had no idea until, of course, watching your documentary that I didn't even know they reprinted the books without the art. Like that's just a dumb fucking idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, I mean, I try not to dwell on it too much. That said, I mean, there's no doubt, it points to how impactful the illustrations were, because I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to, fault the publisher any more than any I mean, if you get to know how, children's publishing works, I mean, they switch out illustrations all the time and they just don't think much of it, like, because that's just what you do, right? Oh, we need to, this is a popular title. We need to reprint it. We need some reason to reprint it. Okay, let's switch out the illustrations. And 9 times out of 10, nothing against the old illustrator, but the new illustrator will do just fine, and they don't think much of it. And that's almost the story here from a documentary standpoint. This is one of the exceptions to the rule. This is one of those where it's like there was a huge outcry when they tried to, or they did replace the illustrations, and that just goes to show. I mean, this was a cultural something, that happened where people associated these illustrations with these stories, and it was important to a lot of people, and the outcry that happened when they replaced the illustrations just kind of goes to show that fact. Yeah. And so people ask me, are you going to be talking about the other illustrations? It'll get brought up for sure, and we definitely did address it, but at the same time, it was more a celebration of these books and the original books with the original illustrations, for sure.
Yeah, it would be like trying to re-record a Beatles record without McCartney.
Yeah.
Or just like replacing a member of an important band,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. It's, but yeah, I mean, and things like this documentary and the adaptations coming out and all this stuff, it just will further solidify, these stories with these illustrations. I mean, it's just a million things pointing to the fact that it's become, sacred to a lot of people. And there's precedent though. I mean, one of the comparisons I make is, this is a little bit of a modern day Grimm's fairy tales. And there's a lot of comparisons there. Right. And there were original illustrations with those, and there was a lot of course, it was done at a different time. It wasn't done in, the day that, modern day of Twitter and so on and so forth. But, there is, a lot of interest in looking at stories, that were collected in a particular way with particular illustrations and, how impactful they were. And this is an attempt to kind of document a particular instance that just, really affected a lot of people just exactly how they were, and now with the internet, it's different, and it's a weird frontier we're in, but at the same time, both the stories and the illustrations with them kind of live on, in all kinds of different forms.
Yeah. The only, I ended up getting when they reissued it as a box set, they have slightly different covers, and that's fine. The only thing that would have made it creepier is if they would have done like a Stranger Things thing and reprinted them in like old hardcover and like burnt around the edges or something kind of creepy. But man,
a lot of people think of those, the ones that came out, they had the black with the red stripe around them, and that's the ones I have sitting in my office. I mean, that's the thing that were just like, so in the 80s and 90s, there were millions and millions of those just got pumped out. Scholastic book order forms and generally school libraries.
That's what I had.
So many of them. So those got so worn. That's the thing with having a black cover, that you see the wornness to them, all the creases and everything. And that just became something that's imprinted with people. Yes, all the stories in the illustration, but just generally the object just became kind of a thing with so many kids, of a couple of different generations.
Yeah. And I'm conflicted. Trenton, I don't know how you feel, but when I bought the box set and brought it into my house, I have 2 kids, 5.5 and 1.5. And I mean, I read these books as kids, and I mean, I turned out as, I think I'm normal. I don't fucking know, but I hid the books. I'm like, I don't want my 5-year-old discovering this right now. I mean, because she's learning to read. I don't want her to learn to read, and the first thing she remembers is this story about a kid finding a toe in the dirt.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, so I have one. He's 8 years old, about to be 9, and he to this day doesn't really handle scary stuff or just has no interest in it. Right? I mean, he can't do. We tried about 5 or 10 minutes of the Goosebumps movie, and he noped right out of there. He was just like, nope,
Wow.
not going to happen. And which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's it's not like I'm. And what I've said to people is, yes, I have an 8-year-old who has no interest in these books, so that's perfectly fine. I'm not, pressing him to read it or anything. That said, am I going to his elementary school and insisting that no other 8, 9, 10-year-olds can have it, that it should be taken completely out of the elementary? No, I'm not saying that, because different kids are different ways, and it's a tricky thing. I mean, that's really what we get into with the documentary, is that, it's a minefield of a situation here. And I think there's a lot of nuance to it, because it's, I'm not really for, introducing all kids to everything. I mean,
Right.
People talk about banning, which, everyone immediately, or so many people immediately is like, oh, of course I'm not for banning. But then when you switch it to age appropriateness, then it gets a little murky, right? And admittedly, it makes sense, because like I said, I'm not for all kids being, imparted all things, in every situation. So, we have to send our kids to the same elementary schools. And so we have to make these decisions, collectively. And how do we deal with that? And what I tend to do is sympathize with the, librarians who are often in the middle of this, and they just want to get kids reading, and if there's an 8-year-old who, doesn't like to read, and the only thing he does like to read is something that's creepy, because that's just kind of where his head is, most likely that's not going to turn into a homicidal maniac, right? He's going to move on to Stephen King by the time he's 10 years old, and or 12 or whatever. I mean, that's how I was. I was reading Stephen King by middle school, and I turned out I went on to have multiple degrees in English literature. So, it's the different kids are going to be different ways. So it just kind of has to be managed, right? And it's a murky situation. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those that says all 5-year-olds should be immediately given a copy of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. No, it's a tricky situation.
Right. And R.L. Stine, he talks very openly about that as well, about how he's kind of a training wheels for readers, and it gets them into reading. Yeah. And that guy, that was a big get to get R.L. Stine.
Yes, he was great. I mean, it's one of those where you're interviewing someone who's been interviewed a million times. And so the fact that he says, well, you actually asked me something I haven't been asked before is kind of a thing, it's like, because, and that's, so yeah, he was fantastic and was very open about talking about, Goosebumps and have been, challenged in all kinds of different situations. So he was a particularly great example of yes, books that are very highly popular, as well as being challenged. So he had a particularly interesting, viewpoint about it. The interesting thing about, doing a documentary about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is because these books are a bit more mysterious and have a certain mystique around them because they don't have the author who's done a million interviews, right? I don't know that I could bring anything to, a documentary about R.L. Stine or his books that right. You can just read, in a million interviews he's done. Again, lovely person, but there's not much mystique there. In the case of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, there was a lack of information, and so and for various reasons, and so that really opened the doorway for let's dive into this. Let's figure out how this became a phenomena, how it became a thing, even though you didn't know it was a thing. I mean, that's, what admittedly, if I hadn't done a documentary about it, I wouldn't have known that it was a thing with millions and millions of kids all over the place. I didn't know that until I started to look into it and realize, wow, this is a thing.
Right.
People are talking about this book and have been for decades.
And I had no idea. Yeah. I had no idea it was challenged. I didn't know it was banned. I didn't know it was challenged. I remember ordering it from Scholastic and then becoming horrified for several years, and that was it. And then it disappeared for me.
Yeah, and one of the things that the American Library Association talks about, and where I tend to come from the direction of, is the fact that, people don't know about it because it's done quietly, right? The vast majority of the time, there's no discussion. It's done on a very local level. Where, when you talk about banning in America, we're not talking about China or whatever. I mean, we're talking about a censorship that's done on a very local level, and it's something that again, you can define it in different ways. If you want to talk about, okay, this is age appropriate, let's push it up to middle school. That's a debate, right? And I'm not going to, blanketly say that should never happen. But it's a debate, and the tricky thing here in America is, and a lot of places is that, it's done locally and it's done quietly, and there's no discussion about it. And the idea with this documentary is, taking a look at a particular example that had a very positive effect with a lot of people. And so this was the number one most challenged book of the 1990s and one of the most challenged books of the last 40 years. Then it starts to question, we generally question, okay, how are we doing this? How are we challenging books when this book had a positive effect and it's the most challenged? I mean, you start to question the whole system a little bit, and how we go about addressing it. And in the case of censorship, oftentimes, it's the loudest person that gets heard, and oftentimes, or a certain amount of time, a school isn't in a great position to question it. And so, again, it either happens or it happens without a discussion. And so it's getting this, discussion more attention. That's what, it's tricky, but that's to some degree what I would consider in the short term a solution or a helpful thing. Is just let's talk about this thing rather than it just happening.
Right. Yeah, because nobody ever came to me and said, "Hey, you're going to die." Like no one said that to me as a kid, except the fucking hearse song. When I'm reading the hearse song, and the first lines are, "Don't you ever laugh as the hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die," and then it starts to outline all the things that happen to your body. I think for a lot of kids, that may be the first thing they hear about. About dying and what happens after that.
And we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it with kids. We see the joke is like every Disney movie, the parents immediately die, right? It happens.
Just disappear. But it's not explained.
It's not dissected. It's not really gotten into. As us as parents, it makes us uncomfortable, and so it's really when it comes down to it, this isn't actually anything new. We've been talking about death and dying in children's literature for forever, right? It's nothing particularly new. Sometimes it's done in the form of cautionary tales. Hansel and Gretel. That's a story that a woman is literally trying to eat children, right? And it's a cautionary tale about essentially, be careful with strangers and so on. But it's about death and dying, and it's nothing new. But at the same time, it's not nice. and that's the tricky thing about when we talk about what stories our kids should be reading, oftentimes it's not necessarily it needs to be the nicest story. There's a lot of benefits to opening up those discussions and having those experiences. That was to some degree somewhere in the process, I found that there was a whole other documentary that could have and should be made. It has to do with death and dying in children's literature, because that's a whole thing, and there's tons of it, and it's really interesting. I had to kind of whittle it down a little bit because I had to hone in on these particular books and that sort of thing. But
I had to stay on
it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, who was the musician who did the Hearst song that you interviewed him at the, I think, kind of the front end of the film?
Joe Whiteford. Joe Whiteford, and he had done his version of it previously, and I loved it, and he became a really fantastic interview because, just the idea of the Hearst song and that being introduced to kids again isn't that new, because there's tons of other nursery rhyme type things that when you dissect it, it's about death and dying or very dark things, right?
Ashes, we all fall down.
Exactly. So it's not anything too new or anything, but at the same time, it makes for a very interesting topic to kind of dissect and get into.
Would you mind if we played the trailer?
Sure.
That book was talked about on the playground.
There's something a little off-putting, but that's why it's so fascinating.
You had to sign up a couple weeks in advance if you wanted to get them.
Everybody knew these stories.
And it was always a subject of dares. Like, I dare you to check out the book.
Alvin Schwartz, he would go and he would practice these stories in his bathroom because the acoustics were amazing.
The village huddled on the edge of a vast swamp.
They're probably the most scary pictures ever committed to paper.
Everybody remembers the illustrations just as much as they remember the stories.
There is a horse that is grotesque, it is misshapen, it is disproportionate, it has a human eye.
There is the element of folklore, it being somewhat of a lost art in our culture.
I think about getting spooked with my girlfriends, at a sleepover under the blankets, all like, eee!
Growing up, I never really saw the Scary Stories books in light of them being widely banned. I just saw them as stories that my grandfather collected.
The number one banned books for 10 years on that list were the Scary Story books by Alvin Schwartz. He was the number one banned book author, and he just loved that.
The idea of verbal storytelling makes them think about history and our culture and where we come from and why we tell these stories.
Initial reactions with things you don't understand or recognize. I think fear is the primary driver.
Your blood rushes faster, your heart rate increases.
Children have a need to master the fears that they have in their life.
So they kind of give readers a taste of the darker side of humanity and kind of prepare children for what to expect when they actually do go out into the real world.
Skeletons of giant trees, snags the people called them, rose up out of the muck, their dead branches reaching out like long, twisted arms.
I always found it interesting that these books were challenged because we don't discourage students from reading Greek mythology or Robin Hood.
When I finally got the courage to check out the book myself and carrying it home in my backpack and feeling like it was burning up.
Ooh, that makes me want to watch it again. Man, I wish I had some of that R.L. Stine money, I'll tell you that much. All right, Cody Meirick, producer, director of the new Scary Stories documentary, the story of the most banned books of modern times, available now on all major video-on-demand platforms and DVD pre-order. That's out now on Amazon. That comes out on July 16th. Scary Stories Doc on Twitter, Instagram. We'll share that trailer on our Twitter handle at Too Dumb for This, at Scary Stories Movie on Facebook, scarystoriesdoc.com. You got to check this thing out. Cody, thank you for the time tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, man. Sorry I didn't add too much. It was an interesting conversation, though, and I really enjoyed listening to it. So,
thanks. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Cody, you're the best. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks a lot.
Man, what'd you think?
I didn't add anything, but it was cool, man. It was cool. It was interesting.
You got to read those fucking books, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Man, the illustrations alone have me pumped up about the whole situation.
The first story, hold on, let me flip through to make sure I'm not talking out of my asshole. The first story is it's called The Big Toe.
Nice.
And what is fucking freaky about this story is it's a story about a boy who's just digging in the ground, right? And he finds a big toe and he pulls on it and then it breaks off. And then like he hears something scamper away and then he takes it home and his family slices it up and eats it. That's weird. But the kid, so digging in the ground is just something you do as a kid. So right away, there's a seed being planted in your brain. It's like, what am I going to find when I'm digging in the dirt? And he finds a big toe, but he's not just a regular kid. The fucking drawing, it has a kid with like claws and like a big deformed ear. Like he's kind of like a mutant kid. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world how it starts off. And then this thing comes back to haunt him and his family, and it's like, where is my toe? Where is my toe?
It's in my shit, ghost.
Yeah, we sliced it up and ate the shit out of it. You big weirdo. Get out of here.
Yeah, man, that sounds cool.
God, ghosts take themselves too seriously. It's like,
Right?
Go yourself.
Which is what I wanted to do this whole interview. Just kidding. No, man, it was interesting. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than the illustrations are super cool, man. The artwork's amazing.
I like drawings.
I do.
No, they're fucking, dude. That's what gets you hooked.
Yeah.
I mean,
honestly, these are probably the craziest illustrations I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the artwork is phenomenal, and it really makes me interested in it. And I can imagine if I would have seen Harold when I was an 8-year-old little boy, I would have been terrified, dude.
Yeah, and it's not even just that they're good illustrations. Anybody can, I mean, any great artist can just draw a nice illustration of like a scarecrow. It's the missing pieces, man. Like it gets blurry. There are all these like loose strings. And your imagination,
terrifying.
It's super terrifying.
Yeah, it's creepy, dude. It looks like some bad stuff has happened to this guy that drew these pictures. He's a sick individual, and I love it.
Well, in the documentary, kind of, well, they don't touch on that, but I guess this guy doesn't give interviews. Is he still alive?
I think so.
Where the fuck is he? We should get him.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have much to say there other than, man, something's wrong with you, but I love your drawings.
Be like, have you been drawing for a while?
Remember when you drew the pictures for that book that I didn't ever read?
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was cool. That was some cool stuff. Good job. Nice work.
It really was cool. And the documentary, I thought it was very interesting because, like he said, man, there's 3 different aspects of it. There's the stories themselves, the illustrations, and then the fact that it got banned. So there's like 3 different storylines going on in this documentary. It's kind of cool.
And imagine being like 7 or 8.
Right.
And like, oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a bit much.
When you're 7, you're like,
ban those books. Ban those books.
Yeah, you should start a petition.
Yeah. No, dude, that was like the one part I was going to jump in on was like, fucking A, man. There's always some goody asshole out there trying to get something banned. So,
yeah.
I'm glad they didn't.
Just don't ban that fine ass.
That's right.
Ban short shorts. Dude, everybody's trying to ban something sexy or horrific. They need to ban their fucking face. They should ban a baseball bat right up their butt. Oh, you know what we didn't ask him?
He said, "Oh, Bob, it's just kid stuff."
Oh, why didn't he do that documentary? And I'd have been all over it.
Oh man, that was
Yeah,
nice.
man, that picture of Harold. That shit is terrifying, dude.
Yeah, you had to get that tattoo.
No shit. Right above my dong.
Yeah, my dick scares the ladies,
Huh.
but not because of its width or length.
But because Harold's tattooed on it.
Ooh, it's Harold. I gotta see this.
Oh man. Yeah. It was I added absolutely nothing.
Don't worry about that, man. You jumped in on several things.
I think one thing.
Well, did I step on you at all?
No.
Okay.
No. I just I said what I had to say. I was just listening.
Okay. Well, I don't ever want to step on you. So if there's like,
Oh,
if somebody's
please.
talking,
dude, you do what you got to do. I love it. There's nothing better I like than cock blocking you and like just stepping all over your shit.
okay, dude, I'm okay with that. It doesn't fucking matter. Dude, you just got to get in and just like dig in. But also like,
no, absolutely.
But if you have something important, like do a little, and I'll step away. I can let you go.
Do I ever have anything important to say? No, man. It was not a thing at all. I just legitimately I don't know. I just wanted to talk about the illustrations and I did. That was it. That was my big takeaway from everything.
Yeah. I guess, man, like like I said, I was really familiar with the stories.
Sure.
But still, we didn't talk that much about the stories, I guess.
Yeah.
Just how fucking freaky they were. But dude, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
That's the picture for the babysitter.
The baby's head is huge.
Right? Like they're all like kind of mutants.
So cool though.
Yeah. But yeah, the babysitter, that's the old urban legend about the calls are coming from inside the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're familiar with the stories.
Yeah, I just never knew that they were from that. That one and the hook.
The hook, yeah.
And the spider face.
Oh, see, I'd never heard of Spider Face until this. Obviously the book.
Whoever the lady was that told that story in the documentary was, you know, she needs to work on her story.
It wasn't that scary, was it?
No. No.
Yeah, I wasn't terrified one bit.
I'm sure she's a nice lady.
Yeah, you got to have something slightly wrong with you, though, to terrify people. And at least use a flashlight, like under your chin. You know, go old school with it.
Turn off the lights. Yes. Amateurs. Fucking pussies.
It's probably his wife or something.
I know. That's what I was just thinking about. She was pretty hot.
Oh yeah.
Terrible storyteller.
Somebody should ban her. Ban her from ever telling a story again.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sure she was great.
Do we keep this?
I don't know.
It's pretty funny. Grumpy Cat is dead.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
That sucks.
He's grumpy no more. What do you think of that?
Finally in a better place.
Yeah, maybe he won't be fucking so grumpy anymore. Just go up and like eat a bunch of tuna, get pet all the time by hot chicks. Turn that brown upside down.
I liked Grumpy Cat.
How old was he? I mean, that thing went viral a long time ago. In cat years, that's like 150.
He looked like he had a little bit of he was down with the down, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, he's special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Special needs pussycat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The feline who gained internet fame for her iconic frowning face. Girl?
Oh, was a girl?
Oh,
no
no.
wonder. Should have been bitchy cat.
In a statement, her family said her spirit will continue to live on through her fans everywhere. I didn't know that was a fucking girl.
I didn't either.
Oh, no wonder she's grumpy. Looking like that?
Mm-hmm. Bitchy cat.
What a
so stupid.
I'm gonna see you next Tuesday.
Nice.
Now I feel bad.
It's a cat.
Yeah, Grumpy Cat's
I can
dead.
do without cats.
I think they're probably pissed because, I guess the owner was like, oh, they'll live on with their fans everywhere because they were cashing out.
Oh, I'm sure they were making some bucks.
You know, that's all we need.
I don't know how.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
how do you?
special appearances, calendars, merch, T-shirts.
What corporation's bringing in Grumpy Cat?
Oh man, at all of these NerdCon events.
Really?
All these internet nerd meetup things, which they should invite us to do a live podcast.
Yes. Hello, nerds.
But I'm sure they're bringing in, Grumpy Cat. I'm sure they're bringing in that woman who has all those math symbols all over her face.
What? There's a woman with math symbols on her face?
You know, it's an internet meme thing. Arthur's fist.
I don't know any of this stuff. Am I out of the loop on something here?
No.
I mean, I knew Grumpy Cat.
You're not missing a thing. These are all worthless internet memes. The overly attached girlfriend. Hey, we should get her on the show. I think she's from Dallas.
It would just be another interview that I know nothing about. What is her deal?
Well, she took a picture of her face, and it just looks like she's an overly attached girlfriend. Her eyes are wide and doe-like, and it looks like she's very needy, and it looks like she desperately needs your attention. And then it went viral.
What?
Yeah. Then people started putting I'll share it with you.
Let me do a quick Google search. I'm so confused by life now.
Yeah, overly attached girlfriend. Just Google that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get her on the show.
Surprised it didn't bring up one of my exes. That's it, huh?
Yeah. Well, do you see her face?
Just a girl's face, man. It's so weird.
And then there you go. One caption says, "Can we leave the light on tonight? I want to be able to watch you sleep."
I just don't. How does this stuff take off, man?
It's been over 10 minutes since you last said you loved me. Are you breaking up with me?
Ugh, so stupid.
Here's one. I read something interesting yesterday. Your emails.
Stuff like this makes me hate the internet.
I was looking through your text earlier. Who's mom? No, Trenton, this is good stuff.
Yeah, apparently.
No, this is what comedy is now.
Apparently. I don't get it, man.
You ate at Wendy's? Who the fuck is Wendy?
Okay, that one's pretty funny. That one's pretty funny.
Have you seen her recently, though?
Uh-uh.
I'll just let you Google that later.
What happened? Now I'm curious. What do I Google? Overly attached girlfriend recently?
Now? Yeah, she still has the big eye thing going on. I mean, she's fucking normal. She's a normal, pretty girl. But then she does, like, her character.
That's not a character. She's just smiling.
No. She invented a whole new character, and it went viral, and it's very influential. You know, very similar to Like Charlie
Grumpy
Brown.
Cat?
Grumpy Cat.
I don't know, man. I mean, she's cute, I guess.
Call you Grumpy Cat.
Well, I don't get this. This is crazy town. I'm the old man yelling at kids to get off my property.
What about the Irma Gerd girl?
God damn it!
You're familiar with the Irma Gerd girl, right?
I don't think so. Irma Gerd. Irma Gerd. Mash burgers. Okay, yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah. We could get her on too. That could be our thing. We could have had fucking Grumpy Cat, but Grumpy Cat went tits up.
Oh.
That's our lane, man. Internet memes.
Yeah, I'm okay if we don't go down that road. Dude, I did see a hairless guinea pig. Have you ever seen a hairless guinea pig?
No.
They look like little hippopotami.
Did you
Google it?
Did you go blind? Hairless. How do you spell guinea pig? There we go. Oh, Jesus, like Papua New Guinea? Oh, my God.
Is that not kind of cool?
This is weird. Okay, I got to play this.
Writing's not that easy.
God
but
damn it.
Grammarly can help.
Let's get this ad out of
This
the way.
sentence is grammatically correct.
Oh, weird.
Looks like a little hippo.
Cute as fluff.
For anyone not familiar with this unusual but adorable animal, this is a skinny pig. This is Pim.
Skinny pig?
This bald but beautiful guinea pig lives with his owner Jessica in the southern part of the Netherlands. This peculiar breed of guinea pig is pretty much the same as a normal one, aside from being hairless. These quirky-looking pets do need to be kept warm due to the fact that they lack a furry coat, so Pim has been living inside Jessica's home since she got him just under a year ago. Pim's owner knows that he is prone to getting cold, so they've made sure he has plenty of jumpers to keep him warm.
Oh, that's adorable.
He also loves to snuggle up under the covers and make friends with lots of other animals.
He looks like a fucking cock. Put a vein on that thing.
I didn't see a video. All I saw was a picture of one, and it looked just like a little hippopotamus.
Nah, he looks like a fucking big old dick. Put that thing in your pants.
Oh, good gravy.
Oh, now we got to share that out. Take me now, Lord.
That's
your catchphrase.
Take me now, Lord.
Cute as fluff. Yeah, we got to share that. That looks like a fucking dick, man. Here, let me take this. I'll take a picture and share it with you. It looks like a dick with like a little bit of like white scruff on the end.
Weird.
Yeah, here, let me I'll send this to you right now. Gonna see that. And this fucking this dog is looking at him like, I can fit you in my mouth. Hold on, are you by your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta look at this, dude. This dog is looking at this thing like what planet did you come from? Look at that thing. That's one, that's a fucking dick. Two, that dog is already fed up with this interview. That dog's like, get this thing out of here. I've seen this before when drunk Uncle Larry comes over.
Yeah, it does look like a dick. But let me show you. Let me send you the one I saw. And who came up with the skinny pig? That's the dumbest name ever.
Probably the same girl who told those scary stories. Let's not go down that road. Oh, that looks like a black dick. Is that what you just sent me? Wait, did you just send me a link to Blacks on Blondes?
Because it looks just like it doesn't matter.
No, it does. It looks like, what'd you say? A hippo.
Yeah, a little baby hippo.
Little hippo. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you were so sensitive about this.
I'm just...
No, I'll take this seriously. It looks like a little hippo.
No, I didn't mean anything by it.
Is everything okay? Yeah, you're right. No, I can see your side.
Oh, Jesus. Mr. Sensitive over here. No, man, it looks like a baby hippo. Quit saying it's a dick. Oh, this is so stupid.
That motherfucker must have done some gnarly shit in its previous life to come back looking like a dick.
Right?
Yeah, we'll tweet out a picture of that at Too Dumb for This on Twitter.
Yeah. Or we'll just edit out this whole episode. Like it never happened. I mean, the interview part was fine.
What's wrong with the dick guinea pig?
No, that part's fine too. I just feel like I'm just shitting out one big turd, man.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know. I just can't get in the groove. I can't find a rhythm. Mr. fucking Scary Stories bummed me out, man. I don't know what's happening.
Did you hate it?
No, I didn't hate it. It was just, I don't know. I don't know, man. It got me down, I guess.
Ah, sorry.
I just feel like I missed out on a good part of childhood.
Wait, but by not reading the books?
Yeah. Like I'm not part of the thing. There's like millions of people that are in this club that I'm not a part of. Kind of hurts, man. Kind of hurts.
Yep. Yep, Bobby.
Yeah. Damn it, Bobby. Worked on any impressions lately?
Just the Irma Gerd girl.
Irma Gerd. I'm working on my grumpy cat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How does that go?
Hopefully I die before this episode's over.
Okay, yeah, we can just stop it. No. Let's just stop it. And I'll just I'll turn down the faders. I'll hit stop. And then you'll be happy.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll really do it.
And then I'll just hit delete.
Yep.
Whoops.
Sorry. We lost it all.